If we don't make that extra effort, here's what our competitors are doing. They have sales teams that are talking to the peers who we're trying to sell to too, right? And within a sales environment, there is a tremendous amount that we can learn. But that's still an environment where there's a shield up. That prospect's being sold to. This isn't an opportunity to divulge the greater pain points and issues and challenges. And most of the time, now this will drive you crazy as a 4-time B2B CRO. I think it was Gong had a study of thousands and thousands of sales calls. And the sales reps talk 2/3 to 3/4 of the time. Like you would never drive and design and drive a deep customer learning program through an existing business process that was set up to do something different. Same thing for customer success. They're putting out fires, they're answering questions, and they're trying to cross-sell and upsell. Right?
Yeah.
That's their mantra, right? The data is fantastic, but how do we have these conversations that are open, that aren't skewed towards a traditional business process that every single one of our competitors are already doing? They're doing the same thing, right? They're learning the same stuff that we are through those processes. So I guess my ultimate question is, on a scale of 1 to 10, let's just put it this way. How important is it that we get out of our traditional processes and that we actually find new ways to learn deeply about the very customers that we're trying to create, the prospects that we're trying to reach out to? 1, it's not important at all. Let's just keep doing what we're doing. 10, we really got to do something different. Where do we fall there and why?
So I'd love to give you a very easy answer, but so let me give you something that's not too nuanced, right? I'm going to bucket it very broadly into 2 stages of business. Okay. If you're an earlier stage startup, and I'm talking a few million in revenue, maybe up to 10, 20 million, Series A, early Series B, that type of size, your entirety should be focused on 10 out of 10 being completely customer obsessed, right? Do things that don't scale, break the rule books, think through everything from a first principles perspective. Because if you are taking off the shelf processes, frameworks, best practices that have been handed down to you from other businesses that have already made it, and you're listening to them on podcasts like this or from books that you've read, that is available to all of your competitors. And if you are executing the same playbook in the same way, do you know what? You're going to end up with roughly the same results, right? The regressions of the mean, right? Do you know what happens to average companies in VC-backed businesses? They go bust, right? So you have to break the mold. So it should be 10 out of 10 important. Now, that doesn't necessarily scale. And this is me being a little bit cynical. So you might have listeners just completely disagreeing with me. But there has to come a point when having the whole business just do whatever they can to be customer obsessed starts to break down a little bit, and you do have to put in playbooks and processes, and there's always room for innovation, but you start to have to coalesce around some kind of consistency and repeatability, and some of that will come at the expense of maybe being exceptionally customer orientated in every situation. And sales is the best example of this, right? If you just have a nice chat with your customers on every sales call, and you take the conversation wherever it wants to go, regardless of whether or not they will or won't buy from you, you might learn a lot, but you're going to build up a very expensive sales team that doesn't close an awful lot. And you're going to become quite inefficient. So I think it goes from 10 out of 10 to 8 out of 10, right? But at no point should it drop below 6, 7 out of 10, because that is when you've gone too far the other way. You're obsessed with process. You're obsessed with, honestly, bureaucracy and efficiency for the sake of efficiency. And a competitor who is much more customer obsessed will come and eat your lunch.